Alright, I think we're live again. Let me see if that fixed anything. Oh nice, it's here. Perfect. Chat is available. Okay. I think it's working. I'm going to pull this over to the side. And I'm going to wait an extra few minutes in case anyone wants to join. Alright, I'm going to add the description here. Okay. Technical stuff is always fun, but I think we've made it. Your channel /live. All right. So I guess I can get started here since this is probably going to be recorded, right? And it doesn't seem like anyone is here. Okay. Let me just bring this over for a sec. All right. All right, so let's get started. So hey everyone, it's Jacob here, and you know, we're just going to spend an hour kind of going over some fun stuff in the Tribes module. We're going to figure out how to build on the Hyperverse. So there's no one here right now, but yeah, let's have some fun. So right now, you know, we're going to start building on the Hyperverse. And so we at Decentology, we have this thing going on called Hyperhack. And you can find this Hyperhack at decentology.com/hyperhack. And you can read about it here, but you know, this is sort of an effort to help Web2 developers get started on their Web3 journey. And so, you know, you can join the excitement of learning Web3. You can register here if you haven't yet. But we're doing some pretty fun stuff. And so this sort of workshop is going to be going over, you know, how you can actually start tinkering with the Hyperverse. And so this is sort of, if you've read through here, this is there's three categories. There's two to make some cool blogs or videos about the Hyperverse, but this is really going to focus on the tinkerer category, which is actually coding some stuff on the Hyperverse. So what we can do is click this Get Started here, and this will take us to the Hyperhack documentation. So you can read through this. This is, you know, it's sort of an introduction to the Hyperverse and Hyperhack and all that stuff. But we're going to be building stuff on the Hyperverse. And so what we're going to do is we're actually going to skip down to where it says Get Started. And so, you know, there's a bunch of stuff here on how to get started. You know, if you want to participate in the Thinker category, this is, you know, coming up with ways in which you can actually build on the Hyperverse. The Scholar is making some, you know, blogs and other fun stuff and best practices, but we're going to focus on the Tinkerer part. And so if we want to get started with the Tinkerer category, we can click on this next section, and it comes up with, you know, a bunch of prerequisites and how to install and get started. So cool, here we are. And I'm sort of like rushing through this introductory part because I sort of want to get to the code so that I can actually start fully explaining what exactly this all is. All right, cool. So some prerequisites before we start developing. You'll need Visual Studio Code or any IDE for editing JavaScript, LOL. You'll need Node.js. You can get that, you know, just by clicking on these links. You know, Yarn and the Flow CLI. So the Flow CLI, you'll need this. If you go to this page, it's pretty straightforward. If you're on Mac OS, I would suggest doing this one. I would suggest just copy and pasting this in a terminal instead of using a Homebrew. This one always seems to work really well. Linux, it's just this one line, and if you're on Windows, it's just this one line as well. I'm currently on Windows, so I have done this one already in a terminal somewhere. All right. So then we're going to install. So this is actually a Git repository. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to clone from this repository. So I'm going to open a terminal. I'm going to say I'm going to cd into my documents folder, make directory Hyperhack, cd into Hyperhack, and then I'm going to git clone and this link. And so it's going to clone it onto my computer. Going to do a bunch of fun stuff. And we're just going to wait for this shortly. You can see this, right? Okay, good. And I'll increase the font size when we start coding and stuff like that. And so then we're actually going to cd into Hyperhack 1, which is the repository that we just cloned. Let's clear this. And so now we're working in sort of like a nice little thing here that we can see. And I'm going to increase the font size for everybody. All right. So once we're in here, the first thing we're going to do, actually, you know what? Let's go back to our documentation for a second. So let's go to run your DApp, right? So we're going to follow the instructions. So before running the DApp, we have to install the dependencies, and so we do that with yarn. So let's type yarn, and it's going to do a bunch of stuff in here to install a bunch of stuff. And for those of you that know me, you know that when we yarn, instead of doing anything useful, I like to go to Flappy Bird and start doing some Flappy Bird while we wait for yarn. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're doing some Flappy Bird right now. Usually I get to 10, although Nick always makes fun of me because I always say I can get to 10 and then I fail on 6, which is really annoying. But yeah, so let's see if we're done yet. Nope, we're still not done. So we got to keep going on Flappy Bird. All right, so this is just us waiting for yarn. And if you're doing this at home or you're watching this later, I would advise you to do the same. It makes the process a lot more exciting, and you start to actually enjoy yarn a lot more if you don't have to sit there and suffer over it just by staring at the terminal. You can pull up a fun Flappy Bird game. All right, now we're done. All right, so now we are done, and sometimes I wonder if I'm a psycho because no one's watching and I'm just doing Flappy Bird by myself. Nonetheless, here we are. We have done everything that is required. So after successful installation of the dependencies, we can run the DApp and see it live. This can be done by running yarn start. All right, so let's run yarn start. And if everything goes well, let's pray that it does. What's going to happen is it's going to redirect you to decentology.dev. It's going to say setting up your app with this cool logo. And in the terminal, there's going to be a bunch of stuff in here. It's going to run a ton of stuff. It's going to deploy the contracts. It's going to set up accounts, a ton of fun stuff. And let's hope that this all works. I'm really, really hoping. Awesome, it worked, which means that I am now free to sort of explain what just happened. So in the terminal, a bunch of stuff just happened, to put it short. But let's expand this. God, okay. So let's expand this. We can start looking at this. So what just happened in the terminal when we typed yarn start? Well, the first thing that happened, if we scroll all the way to the top here, is that it started making some accounts. So the first thing it did is start making some accounts. And so what this does is this makes accounts on the blockchain so that we don't even have to worry about that at all. It makes some accounts for us. It deploys some contracts. And if you don't know what this means, that's perfectly fine. But basically what this is doing is setting up the blockchain stuff that we're going to need to actually interact with the Hyperverse. And so it does all this stuff, it deploys the contracts, blah, 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 but you don't have to know any of this. And so that's sort of the beauty of the Hyperverse. And so if you see this error come up, this cadence error, cadence is the smart contract language for the Flow blockchain. That's what all these modules are coded in. If you see this error, not to worry at all. This is just because it's running a script that's actually on our client here. All right, so this is the first thing we see when we load up. And what we're gonna do actually is, so we're gonna go through the tribes module. That's sort of the point of this exercise. Okay, so here we are, and I'm noticing that there is a bit of delay. Oh, so here, VZ's here. Hey, VZ. So VZ says, hey, Jacob, I didn't know there was any Hyperhack stuff today. Nothing in calendar. Sorry I'm late. Yeah, no worries, VZ. Happy to have you. I'm happy you're here. Yay, BZ. That's awesome. So glad you're here. So yeah, so we're going to be going over what we're doing, BZ, is we're going over the tribes module. All right. So we load up the tribes module. You'll see this web page here. We're going to get into the code in a second, but what's really going on here, right? So this is a client that we have made that works with our modules already. So everything that I'm about to show is pretty much what you're going to be doing, okay? So everything that has to do with this page right here, I'm actually going to click this arrow at the top, and it's going to take us to a separate page. So everything in this page is what you're going to be doing if you are a tinkerer for the Hyperhack, okay? Now, I'm going to show some extra stuff behind the scenes that's making this work really quickly. So there's this one tab called Playground, and this takes us to what's called the Playground. And so there's a bunch of modules here that you can work with. We are just choosing to work with Tribes. So Tribes is the one that we built our example client around. So all of these modules have to do with the blockchain, and they're all already there for you. So if we go to the Hello World, let's just start sort of introducing what these modules even are. Okay, so when you open up each module, you're going to see the first one is always called Instance. So it's the name of the module and then Instance. And what Instance is it's basically, you can think of it as like sort of your own data, right? Or this account's own data. So if let's just click on Alice, because I like that name. Let's go to Alice and let's click Submit here. What this does is this does some complicated blockchain stuff in the background that you don't have to worry about, that basically says, you know what, for this Hello World module, we're going to make some data for Alice, okay? And so when we do that and we go to the Alice account down here for greeting and we click on View, you'll see it returns Hello World. However, if we do it for Burble, for example, and click View, we're going to get an error. This account does not own a tenant, okay? And so the reason for that is because we haven't initialized Burble to have his or her own state. So if we click Submit again on Burble, then if we go down here, we'll see that, oh, Burble actually works now. And so this is a very simple idea when we're looking at Hello World, but when we get to other stuff, it might get a little more complicated. And so the next thing we're going to do is actually look at Tribes. So let's go to Playground again, and let's click on Tribes. So using that same sort of logic, what we're going to do is show how you can, do some tribe stuff. And we've set up this for you. So this is sort of like an example playground for you to work with a module. But the idea is that you will be making a client application that uses this module. And I'll show you how to do that in the code. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Tribes. So let's do Alice again. So we're going to say, you know what? Alice is going to have her own data in the Tribes module. Okay. So we're going to skip this one, and then we're going to go to add a new tribe. And when I say skip this one, by the way, this is just some fun stuff, but I wouldn't worry about this, to be honest. So let's just add a new tribe. So what Tribes is, I guess I should explain what the module is it's essentially a module where the owner of the data, right? So in this case, Alice, because we just initialized Alice, the owner of the data. So the tenant address, remember, we're calling Alice the tenant here, so Alice is the tenant. The owner of the tenant can actually make new tribes, and so that could be whatever you want. It could be archers, it could be mages, it could be dentists, it could be football lovers, it could be literally anything you want. And then, you can put a description of the tribe, and you can add an image for the tribe, and then any user can join that tribe, okay, under your tenant. So in this case, let's just make a group of mages. So the tribe name is mages, and the description is going to be a group of mages, exclamation mark, because we're really excited. So we can click on Browse Files, and I already have this pulled up. I'm so glad it didn't show the rest of my downloads folder because I don't know, there could be some stupid stuff in there. But let's just click on Mage Card, right? So let's click on Open, all right? And so we're going to click on this mage card, and this is just some file that I had to look cool. And let's click on Submit. And bam. So it comes up with the transaction hash. Remember, this is all running on the blockchain behind the scenes, but we've already done that. And so we've now added a new tribe. So if we scroll down and we go to Get All Tribes under Alice again, click View, you'll see it comes up with mages. Now it's a little weird because it comes up with this like weird array of objects, and I apologize for that, but we'll see this on the front end. It actually looks a lot nicer. And so if we were to try to do this for like Burble, for example, click View, look, there's an error. It says Cadence runtime error. Dereference failed. And basically what this is because of the fact that we haven't initialized Burble at the top, right? At the top here. We've only initialized Alice. And so all the data we're working with is Alice because she's the tenant owner. All right, so then what if we want to actually join a tribe, right? So right now, let's just say the tenant owner is Alice, and let's say that you know, Damien wants to join the mages tribe. Well, if we click view right now, you'll see that there's nothing going on, right? There's no item, there's no value, there's nothing happening because Damien isn't in a tribe. However, if we were to go to the tenant owner, which is we know is Alice, and the identity is Damien, and we want to join mages, right? This is the name of the tribe that we made up here. Then if we click submit, it'll do some stuff, and then, you know, it'll join it. And so if we go down to get current tribe for Damien, now it'll show mages, a group. He's in mages. The description is it's a group of mages, and here's the IPFS hash, which is awesome. I wonder if we could even view it. Oh, we can. So look, that's even cool. So if we copy and paste this link, we can post it and we get our little image back, right? So super cool. Now, we can also leave our tribe. So if the identity owner is Alice and the tenant owner is Alice and the identity is Damien, if we leave the tribe, then if we go back and get our current tribe again, you'll see that he's no longer in a tribe. And then, you know, additionally, if we try and join like a fake tribe like Archers, which we haven't even made yet, it'll give an error like this tribe does not exist. So that's sort of what the tribes module is, right? All right. So now, again, as a tinkerer for Hyperhack, if you want to tinker and be under and submit for that category, you're going to make a client application around a module like this. So in this case, we're going to be showing the tribes module. So we've made a client around this module. Now you could do this for any of the other ones. So you could do simple NFT, which is an NFT. You could do simple token, which is a fungible token. A marketplace, a rewards, which says like if you have a certain number of NFTs, you can do rewards. But all those descriptions are in the documentation if you want to see that. But we did tribes because we think that tribes is probably the easiest one to interact with and understand. All right. So let's do something cool here, right? So let's click on Get Started. So if we click on Get Started, it'll say, to get tribes running, you need to have an instance for the admin account in the tribes module. Okay, so let's just back up and see what this means. An instance for the admin account in the tribes module. So what this is saying is in the tribes module, which is back here, we click on tribes, it's saying we need an instance for the admin account. Now remember, we already did Alice, but it's saying it wants the admin one. So if we click on instance for admin and go back here and refresh the page and click on join a tribe, see now it's allowing us to actually join a tribe. But whereas before it was giving us an error that we had to make the instance. And the reason for that is because in the code, we've made it so that it's actually looking at the admin's data. So admin needed to be initialized here. All right, so if we click on join a tribe, it says there are currently no existing tribes, right? So there's no tribes under the admin account. Now, of course, if we had reconfigured this to Alice, which we will do in a bit, then it would have showed up. But remember, this is all, right now the client is using the admin as the tenant owner. Okay, so let's go to the admin and let's do, I don't know, healers. Let's add a group of healers, and let's put a little heart symbol. And we're going to browse files and do the healer card, right? And so if we submit this under the admin as the tenant address, it's going to do a transaction hash, and we can check that get all tribes under the admin, it shows healers, right? Now again, if we were to check for Alice, it would show mages because we did that before, but we're doing this under the admin's state now, so it shows healers. Okay, so now if we go back here and click refresh, look at what shows up. Now it shows healers, which is the image that we selected. And of course, this image looks super cool, and I think this friend looks cool. Thank you to Miss Angelica Turla for doing all of this. All right. So now what we can do is it says select your tribe. And so what it's doing is in the code, remember on here, if we wanted to join a tribe, we'd just select admin, and then the identity would be like Alice or Damien or someone that wanted to join the tribe. On the client, we've put in the code that Alice is the person that's joining. So if we click on this, then Alice joins the tribe. And so then, when we go to this page, it shows healers, a group of healers. We're actually in this tribe right now, and we can leave it if we wanted to and join another one. So if we wanted to, let's go here and let's add, what was the other one I had? I think it was dragons. And let's just say a group of dragons, right? And we're going to make a little mean face. And let's upload a new image. So dragon and submit. Then if we go back into our React app and we leave our tribe, it's going to show us, we can go and join a tribe again. And there's two tribes now, healers and dragons. So we can choose which one we want to interact with. And then we're going to click on dragon. And if we click on dragon, we're now in the dragon's tribe. And that's that. And now the cool thing is that, remember, this is all getting reflected on the blockchain. So when we just clicked that we wanted to join the dragon tribe, we can actually go into our playground here and look at get current tribe admin. And remember, I said that the client's using the Alice account, and I'll show you that in a second. If we click view, oh, that's weird. Maybe it's not. Oh, it might be using Burble, actually. Is it using Burble? Okay, I misspoke. So it's actually using the Burble account to join the tribe and stuff. So if we go to get current tribe, then what we can do is, view that in the admin account and Burble, they're actually in dragons, right? So this is super cool. So our client is doing stuff on the blockchain without us even having to do it manually, on the playground. So, just to prove it to you, if we leave the tribe, right, and go back here and try and get Burble's tribe now, no. So there's nothing. So it's doing all this on the blockchain, right? All right. So now how do you even begin to do that? Well, that's going to be the next part of this. So let's go back into here, into our Hyperhack folder, Hyperhack 1. And I'm going to open this in VS Code by doing code dot. And we're going to open this in VS Code. All right. So let's just make sure the font size is big enough. I'm going to increase this a little bit. Okay, that should be good. All right. So this is the Hyperhack project that you have cloned. And I hope this is easy to read. But anyway, here we are. Okay. And so when you open up, let's actually make this a little brighter maybe. Should we? Oh my God. That might be blinding. Is this going to be easy to read? Okay, no, this is probably going to be super hard. I'm trying to figure out what's like the easiest to read for all of you. Maybe I should just set my color theme back to this. Okay, so we're just going to use this, all right? So, BZ, is this blinding? We're going to use this. All right. So here we are inside the Hyperhack project. Now, where do you even begin, right? Or how is this tribes module even created? So we're going to be viewing this, right? Okay. So how do we even start coding this? Well, in our VS Code, if you go to packages, what you have to worry about is you do not have to worry about the daplib, and you do not have to worry about the playground. What you have to worry about is the client folder. And so inside this client folder, if we go to source and then click on the tribes folder, this tribes folder holds everything that we needed in order to make this front end. So in order to make everything here, we just need this tribes folder. So if you're curious, you can actually go to this tribes folder, and that's what we're going to do now. All right. So if you go to tribes.tsx, there's a bunch of stuff here. And so we're going to step through this and try and explain exactly what's going on here. So tribes.tsx, this is just using React. And so this is a React component called tribes page. And so this is the main page when we first load up our app. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to reset everything. So I'm going to close out the running process, and I'm going to re-yarn start it so that we start from the very beginning, and so all the accounts get reset. And the reason I'm doing this is that we can sort of walk through this process together of how this was actually coded out. So I'm going to wait for a hot sec here. And here we are. So here's the tribes page. So if you go to our code, you'll see this is the tribes page. And if we scroll down to where we're actually returning the content or the HTML, you'll see that what's going on is that there's the tribes title. So that's, this tribes title right here. And it's saying, hey, is there a current tribe? If there's not, we're going to do a button here that's saying show error. There's a bunch of logic here. But essentially what's going on is we're just checking to see if the admin account is actually has actually been run with the instance function. So if we click on get started here, look what happens. It comes up with this error, right? Saying we need to run instance for the admin account. So if we go back to VS Code, you'll see that it's actually getting popped up here. And so the reason it's getting popped up is because of show error. So if show error is true, then that means it's going to show this error. And so the question is, why is show error true? Well, show error is true because of the fact that we tried to click on get started, and when we clicked on it, it says, is there an error? And if there is an error, we're going to show the error. And so then there's another question of, well, why is there an error here? And there's an error because of the fact that we haven't done instance on the admin account, okay? And so it's doing that because of the fact that when we try to get the tribe for the admin account, so the tenant owner here is the admin account, and I'm going to explain this setup in a second. But the tenant owner is the admin account, and the account here is Burball, right? So Burball is the one that's actually joining and leaving. When we try to get the current tribe, it's actually going to give us an error because the admin account hasn't done the instance yet, right? And so in order to fix that, we needed to go to the playground, go to tribes, and run instance for the admin account. And so once we do that, then if we go back to our client, which I'm just going to do this, all right. So if you go back to our client, and let's just open this up, click join a tribe now it says there are no current tribes. And this is because of the fact that we tried to get the tribe, they're not in a tribe, but then it's also checking, hey, there are no current tribes. And so that's what I'm going to go over next. So I'm going to do all like the sort of like JavaScript stuff first, and then we're going to explain how we can actually make calls to the daplib. All right, so we're going to go to all tribes here. And so right now you'll see that the link right now is localhost / all tribes, and so that's actually this file, which is all tribes. So all tribes basically hold some state, and the state is all the tribes that are currently in this app. Okay, so if you scroll down, you'll see we're returning some HTML here. And what this is it says, so this is the tribes, this is the header, that's what's right here, right? And if we go back here, it says object.key, so it's going to iterate over all the keys in all tribes. Then the length is, if the length is 0, then it says there are no existing tribes. Hey, Samina. Happy you're here. Both you and BZ, it's great to have you. So you're seeing that it's going to iterate over all tribes, and if there's no tribes, right, the length is 0, then it's going to print this thing saying there are no tribes. Now, how is it actually knowing that there's where is it actually getting all tribes from? How is it actually calling to the blockchain and getting that information? Well, let's actually go up here. So you'll see right here, use effect. So if you're not familiar with React, what use effect means is that this basically gets run when the web page loads with this little indicator here. So use effect is going to run every time we refresh the page. And so when we refresh the page, every time it's going to call get all tribes, and get all tribes is defined here. So get all tribes, this is actually going to call to the blockchain. And so this next part of the video, this next part of the broadcast is going to be explaining how we actually make calls to the blockchain just using JavaScript code, which is really cool. So what you do is you set up some sort of function like get all tribes, and you make some data. And so the data is going to be the tenant owner, right? So the person that owns the tenant, and this is account.admin. So you can actually access the accounts by doing account dot, and it'll come up with all the possible accounts. And so we'll click on admin. And if you notice that all these accounts are the same ones we saw on the playground, so account.admin. Okay, and the account that we're going to be joining, or the account that we're going to be like looking at, although I guess we actually don't even need this here. I honestly don't know why that's here, right? This should still work. Yeah. Yeah, so we just need the tenant owner. Hey, Suhail, how you doing? We're just going over the tribes module. Very happy to have you here. Okay, so if you want to make a call, so we're making a call to get all the tribes, right? So we're going to make some data. The tenant owner is the admin account. So we're basically going to say, what are all the tribes for the admin instance, right, for the admin state. So what you do is you do const all tribes, so we're going to store this in all tribes, and we're going to await a call to daplib. Now, this is where I should probably introduce what daplib is. So daplib is basically a JavaScript framework that makes calls to the blockchain that we have set up for you so that you don't have to do any blockchain coding. So you can actually find that if we go to packages, daplib, source, and daplib.js. Now, you never have to actually make changes to this code, never. But what you can do is you can look through this file to find helpful methods that will make calls to the blockchain for you. So in this case, we wanted to get all tribes. So we can look up in the daplib file tribes, which is the name of the module. So they're all prefixed by the name of the module, and then get all tribes. And look what comes up. a function that makes calls to the blockchain for us. And so what I've done is before every single one of these functions, there is a comment that indicates what data you need to pass in. And so in this case, we wanted to get all the tribes. And so we're going to ask ourselves, okay, what data do we have to pass in to get all the tribes? And the answer is just a tenant owner, because if we go to daplib, you'll see the only the only data that's required is the tenant owner. And this is the owner of the tenant you want to interact with, which we know is the admin. So if we go here, and also I apologize if I'm saying hello pretty late. Because for some reason there's a weird delay going on. I think it's like 30 seconds or something. So sorry about that. But anyway, so we're gonna say daplib, which is this file, right? .tribes, get all tribes, and we're gonna pass in the data. And what we're gonna do is simply just set our state to that response, right? So await and then all tribes. And so then once we do that, this will actually have all the data from the blockchain. So we had to do no blockchain coding. That was all we had to do. Okay, so that will show all the tribes. And so as an example, if we go to the playground, we go to tribes, and we already did the instance for the admin, and we add a new tribe. So let's say mages, so a group of mages. Let's do the mage card and submit. We've added a mage tribe, and just for fun, let's do dragons, so a group of dragons, and let's add a new file. Bam. And let's do one more just because it looks cool, a group of healers, just that we see all of them, and submit that. Bam. And so if we go back to our client now, if we refresh the page, we'll see that 3 of them come up, the healer, the mages, and the dragons, and we can click whichever one we want. Jacob hasn't slept, OMG. Samina. Yeah, I have been yawning a lot. True. You caught me. Oh my god. All right. So yes. All right. So okay. So now when oh god, I feel a yawn. God, every time I yawn now, I'm gonna be. All right. So then when we do get all tribes here, when we call into the blockchain, it's actually what it's doing is down here, right? So it's actually displaying each of the tribes here, right? So it's looping through all the tribes and displaying their image. It's right the IPFS hash. It's displaying the where's it displaying the oh yeah, so it's just displaying the IPFS hash, which is just like the image, right? And if you click on that image, then what it's going to do is, right, if you click on this image, what it's going to do is it's going to call join tribe, okay? So if we go to join tribe, well, join tribe is a transaction. So this is where I should probably make some sort of distinction, right? So get all tribes is a script. Why is it a script? Well, we can actually put here, this is a script. And why is it a script? It's a script because we're not changing any data on the blockchain. When we get all the tribes, we're just getting stuff, right? We're not actually changing any information. So this is called a script. And when you do a script, you just do it like we described, where this one is a transaction. Okay, and so a transaction is a little different, and it's only different because we introduced this keyword called signer. So signer is sort of the person that's like submitting this request, or the person that like wants to do something. And so in this case, join tribe, the signer is going to be the Burble accounts, right? Because Burble is the one that wants to sign or wants to join the tribe. So they're going to be the signer in this case, and so that's really the only difference. But that's also just like helpful to learn, at least if you're a if you don't know much about the blockchain, then it's helpful to sort of make this distinction between a script and a transaction because you're going to see it a lot. But anyway, so when you click on that image, right? So when if we click on one of these images, it's gonna call join tribe for that image. And so if we go to join tribe, the data is the tenant owner, right? And so we got, again, let's say we didn't have this, right? And we want to do this together, right? Let's actually do this ourselves. So let's just redo this together, okay? So what data? Actually, you know what? Yeah, why don't we just do all this together, okay? So let's do this together. So we're gonna say const, right? And we want to make a call to the blockchain to join the tribe. So let's go to const data equals, and we have to set up some data. And after we set up that data, we're going to make a call to the blockchain. So const result equals, remember the await keyword. We're going to make a call into daplib dot, and it's going to be tribes something. And we don't know what that is yet, right? Because theoretically, you wouldn't know the name of this function, all right? So let's go to our daplib and let's look for some useful functions. So let's look up tribes, so remember they're all prefixed by the name of the module. And let's scroll through here a bit and see if we can find anything cool. So tribes, get current tribes, no, leave the tribe, oh, we're close. Join tribe, bam. So this is what we want. We want to join a tribe. And so there's 3 things we need here. The signer, the account that is joining the tribe. Let's do that together. So the signer is going to be account.verbal, right? And this, you could do any account you want, but I'm just going to do verbal. The tenant owner, so the tenant owner, of course, in this case is account.admin, because this is the account that we did the instance for. And the third thing is the tribe name. So we actually pass in the tribe name here. So we can say tribe name is tribe, which is what we passed in. And so then remember, this is tribes join tribe. So tribes join tribe, and we can pass in our data like so. Boom. So if we save this file, and then we do some other stuff, we say if we join the tribe, then we want to navigate to my tribe, which is what we're going to look at next. But let's test to see if I'm an idiot or if I've done this correctly. So if we click on, see, this is where it stinks that YouTube is not live. It's not like there's a delay, because I want to ask you guys which tribe we want to join, but I'm just going to choose healer. Did we do it right? Boom, we did it right. And so now it joined the healer tribe. And so again, if we go to our playground and look at, get current tribe, the admin's the tenant owner, and we did burble, then it actually shows that we're in the healer's tribe, which is super cool. All right. So then let's go to the my tribe file. So this is what we actually are in when we join the tribe, and this is what we're looking at right now. So it says if we have a current tribe, then get the IPFS hash, the name, the description, and I'm sure you could see how this is being rendered. And this is all. You're not an idiot. Thanks, Samita. I love the support. So then, we have all this stuff here. Healers yet. I love this. Okay. So then, so then we're in here. And so, this is what's being rendered right here, right? And there's also a leave tribe button, which is, this button down below, down here. And so if we click on this one, it would run the leave tribe. It's going to do the leave tribe function that we've set up, and leave tribe is defined up here. So again, let's do all this together, just because I think it might be helpful to do stuff, right? So const data equals something. Our result is going to equal a call, so await daplib, and we know it's going to be tribes something. We don't know the full name yet. And so, let's look for some useful functions. So of course, we saw it earlier, was right here, tribes leave tribe. This takes in a signer, the person that wants to leave the tribe, and the tenant owner, which we know is admin. So the signer is going to be account.verbal, and the tenant owner is going to be account.admin. And then we're going to say, what's the name of this function? It's tribes leave tribe, right? So tribes leave tribe. And we're going to pass in our data. And if we save this, it would correctly work. Now, let's say that we had made a mistake, okay? So let's say that, for some reason we put Alice here. Well, Alice actually isn't even in a tribe, right? So, we can sort of simulate this process by if we go to the playground and we leave a tribe, the admin, remember, the admin's tenant owner, and we do Alice is the one that wants to leave, and we submit this, it's actually going to come up with an error. It says, unexpectedly found nil, when we were removing a member, right? So the error message isn't the best, but this is coming from the Cadence code. And so there's an error, right? It's not letting us do that. So let's say we had made that mistake over here, right? And so obviously this won't work now, because if we try and leave a tribe, nothing happens, right? Because there's an error. And so if we go to our terminal, you actually see it comes up with an error down here as well, saying that didn't work. And so we can go back here and change this to Burble, because Burble is the one that joined the tribe, and Burble is the one that we're currently looking at anyway. And so if we leave a tribe, then bam, we leave the tribe, and we left it. So all done. That's that, right? So that's all cool. That's sort of the tribes module. I mean, that's really everything there is to it. I guess I could sort of go over a little more in depth of how we're getting the information, right? Like when we join a tribe, the current tribe is right here. We're storing the current tribe up top. Oh, so I guess I should go over how is my tribe actually getting the current tribe, right? So let's go back. Let's join a tribe. Let's join mages this time. right? How is our front end code actually knowing that we're in the mage's tribe? Well, when we load the my tribe page, right, and you can see we're at /my tribe up here. So when we actually go to that page, we're doing a use effect, and the use effect says run this when the web page loads. And it's going to run a function. So of course we could, separate this, I guess. If we wanted to, we could like pull this out, I imagine, over here and just make this call inside of use effect. I don't see why we couldn't do that. Jacob's using a white theme. I like it. Yeah, it's funny. I actually, to tell you the truth, I actually use this one called Dracula Soft. I actually really like this one a lot. Look how nice this looks. The green, the purple. This is my favorite. But I know that when I'm doing demos, some people can't read the darker text. It makes it harder to read. So I always change it back to the white. I'm glad you like it though. That's awesome. Which one was it? I think it's this one. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So when the web page loads, we're going to call get current tribe, and get current tribe is up here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to get the current tribe of the person, right? And so if we wanted to do the whole process again, we could go to daplib. He is responsible for my eye damage. If we go to tribes, we're trying to get the current tribe of the person. So we're going to do this one looks good enough. The get current tribe. That's exactly what we're calling here. How do we know the data? Well, we looked at this right here. The account is the account we are looking at to get the current tribe. The tenant owner is the owner of the tenant you want to interact with. So yeah, that's exactly what we pass in right here, right? So if we were to pass in, I don't know, let's say we were to pass in Alice here to get the current tribe of Alice. See, boom, not good. Nothing comes up because Alice isn't in a tribe, right? But Burball, if we change this back to Burball, Burball is in a tribe. So there we go. Well, that is sort of wraps up the tribes example. So yeah, I don't know what else I really want to share. Yeah. Oh, actually, you know what? Okay, here's what I will do. So I will demonstrate sort of like the benefit of composability here, right? Because the whole point of this is that we're doing something called composability. And what does that even mean, right? Well, if we go to a React app and we click on Join a Tribe, you'll see there's 3 tribes here, okay? There's Healer, Mage, and Dragon. And why is this, right? Well, when we go to All Tribes and we look at Get All Tribes, it's getting all the tribes, but the state that it's using is the admin state. So when we make this call, tribes get all tribes, it's using the state of the admin. As well as says, it is around 2:15 a.m. here, but your stream is much interesting, learning some new things here. Oh, I'm so glad. That's awesome. Yeah, and we're going to wrap things up in like 10 minutes or so you can get some sleep. That's awesome, though. Thanks for saying that. Yeah, so when we're getting all the tribes here, right, which is the stuff that's showing up here, you'll see that the tenant owner is the admin, okay? So this is the admin state. But what if we wanted to look at the Alice's state? Well, if we save this and refresh the page, well, it's going to give us an error, of course, right? Right, but if we go back to localhost 5000, join a tribe. Oh God. Okay, so there's clearly some errors in here, but the point is that if we were to go back to our playground and provision the Alice account or do an instance for it, right? Because we want Alice's state and click submit. Then what will happen is, let's see if this will work. Boom. Okay, so now it works. So if we click do instance for it, you'll see there's no tribes for the Alice state. But if we change this back to admin, the admin state isn't touched, right? It will load. And so there's a distinction between different tenants or different states. And that is the boom, this is amazing part of the Hyperverse, right? This is everything that the Hyperverse is about, is the fact that different tenants can have their own state using the same contracts. So again, this is all using one contract on the blockchain, but it's different for whatever tenant that we use. So you can imagine if we scale this to a scenario where there's a Tribes contract and millions of people want to use it without writing any smart contract code, they could use this Tribes module and just have their own state, right? I could click Jacob here and I could have my own tribes if I wanted to. So that's the beauty of the Hyperverse. And so to sort of demonstrate this again, if we were to switch this to the Alice's state, you'll see that there's no tribes, but let's go ahead and let's make a new tribe for Alice. So let's click on Alice here for tenant address. Let's just do healers, a group of healers, and let's click on healer again, submit. And so if we go to the React app and refresh the page, you'll see that Alice now has the healer tribe, but if we change this back to the admin, it is completely reserved and nothing has changed on this end. So Samina says, can you explain tenants to me? Yeah, it's a great question. So tenants are sort of the different states. So in this case, Alice is a tenant because Alice has her own state. And the admin is also a different tenant because the admin has his own state. And that's sort of demonstrated here in that, if we use admin as the tenant, right, then, we have three tribes come up because we've made 3 tribes for the admin. But if we change this to Alice, meaning, we're now viewing Alice as the tenant, and we refresh the page, you'll see that Alice now has her own tribes here. And so that distinction goes to show that each one of these is truly its own tenant, or it has its own state. So that's what it really means. So I think that officially wraps up what I wanted to show in the tribes module. I'm going to sort of stick around for 5 minutes, see if anyone has any questions, but that is pretty much what I wanted to show everybody. I'm just making sure I don't have any messages here that I should go over something. All right, looks good to me. Cool. And so if you have any questions about this, feel free to let me know in the Discord or on Twitter or whatever it is. But, the idea is that you will take, you could even take the tribes module and you could make your own client around it, right? So you would just come into this packages, client, right? Client source, and make your own folder here called tribes2. And you can make your own files here that interact with the blockchain by making these calls and doing whatever you want with it. Yeah, and you can also use the other modules too, right? So not just tribes, you could use NFTs, you could use Hello World if you wanted to, right? What would be really cool is if you just did Hello World. And, if the person did the instance for their account, you would just display hello. And if not, they didn't, right? That's a very simple example you could do. Virtual applause. You could even do that, and that would count as a submission, right? Some of these are maybe a little harder to understand, but you could do NFTs as well, right? If you want to do your own NFT module. So that's, yeah, that's it. I'm looking at the chat here. Oh, yeah, if you notice me looking at the side here, it's because I'm looking at the chat. I'll have to do a stream setup at some point. Anyway, I think this went well. How's the quality, guys, by the way? How's the, let's check it out. We're going to get an infinite loop going on. Oh my god. Oh yeah, look at the quality. Stellar. So we're gonna get an infinite loop. Let's wait for the infinite loop to come. Oh my god, this is so weird. This is gonna be trippy. Off-topic question, why is it so dark in your room? Because hacker made? Yeah, literally. Because it's easier for me to see my screen, I guess. I don't know. I guess I just like the vibe more. Look at this. Oh my god. Do we have an infinite loop going on? Oh, we have an infinite loop. Oh no. Let's see if it keeps going. This is so cool because you get to watch the third me do the same thing. There's that much delay? Yeah, there's like a full-on like a minute, like, or 30 seconds. Here we see, yeah, so what you're seeing here is recursion on the Hyperverse. So you've probably never heard that before, but it's actually really important to the Hyperverse, recursion. Making a tribes module and then recursively making another tribes module all in the same live stream. See, it's kind of, sometimes I actually take a step back and I'm like, wow, I'm actually pretty miraculous. The fact that I was able to live stream recursion on the Hyperverse. I mean, that's something that was probably going to come out in like 2025, and here we are doing it in the later stages of 2021 for all of you. So this is actually crazy. I wonder if someone's done an experiment on like how far down you can go in the recursion to where you can't even see the screen anymore. This is like when I get sleep paralysis and keep dreaming about waking up. That's really funny. Yeah, this is like when you're dreaming and you have like this is like when you're dreaming and you have like a super weird dream, and it just like it's like a psycho like. Oh my god. This is cracked. Wait, I want to see how much. Wait. Can we do an experiment? Let's see how much. Okay, wait. Online timer. Okay. Let's try something. Okay, so I'm gonna raise my hand and then we're gonna test how much the delay is. Okay. Okay. All right, we're doing it. All right, so let's see when I raise my hand here. I think it's like 30 seconds. Oh wait, it's coming, it's coming. Okay. Okay, wait, when do I press it? Okay, now. Oh yeah, it's like 30 seconds, okay. So it's like 30 seconds. Look at me, look at Merkel. Dude, look at Merkel. Oh my god, I'm so glad there's 6 people watching right now. Could you imagine going to the Twitter and seeing tune in live and you tune in and it's just infinite recursion? Infinite Merkel. So in all seriousness, if you're tuning in now, we've concluded the demonstration, and so we've kind of gotten off track here. We're doing infinite Merkel recursion, or infinite Jacob recursion here on the Hyperverse. The first and foremost, this is our first launch of the recursive Hyperverse. No, but if you're just tuning in now, we actually just wrapped up. So when this stream ends, there's going to be a live recording. There's going to be a recording that you can go and watch to everything that we just did. So I was not prepared for a Matrix live stream. You're not going to lie. Yeah, I know you weren't, but I'm sure you're very glad that you tuned in. And this is a sign to the rest of you that are here to make sure to definitely tune in to all the other streams we do. Because not only did we play Flappy Bird at the beginning, which some of you missed, but we're also doing a recursion. You can watch the recording after the stream for anyone who missed it. Exactly. Yes. So we did do some Flappy Bird at the beginning, and next stream maybe we will do infinite Flappy Bird recursion on the Hyperverse and see how that works out. But anyway, I'm going to end things here before we get completely. Before we just ruin everything. So thanks so much everyone for tuning in, and when I end the stream it still won't have ended for you guys for 30 seconds, which would be pretty trippy, but thanks for tuning in, and if you have any questions at all, no question is stupid, I promise you. Let me know on Twitter, on Discord, in the Decentology Discord. Seriously, any questions, I'm here for you, and so is the rest of the Decentology team. So thanks everybody, and I'll